as a Nigerian, you have to find every means to have multiple sources of income. If you're not a Nigerian outside the country, you need to have every single effort in your day put towards having multiple sources of income. Why am I saying this? I'm reading the book currently, Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. And this guy is a blessing. The way he breaks down financial concepts, I haven't seen anyone break it down that way before. Now, he gave an example. He said, we now that were trained in school to get secure jobs for stability, to understand our profession very well, like myself, who I'm a pharmacist, you might also be a 9-to-5 worker. Now, he maintains that there's nothing wrong with having a 9-to-5. But the problem is that the way technology is rapidly changing the world, that secure job you have is no longer secure as you used to think it was in the industrial age, when factories used to be the major places people used to work. So today now, if the only thing you have doing is go to work in the morning, working for an employer who pays you salary at the end of the month, who also contributes to your pension plan, something can happen. They can lay you off. Look at the current thing happening with AI. Just this month alone, Oracle laid off, I think, 13,000 employees. Less than 6 months ago, Shopify laid off about 60,000 employees. So if you're standing on one leg, which is having only income from one side of the quadrant, the cash flow quadrant, in this example, an employee, you're standing on big trouble because those jobs are no longer as secure as they used to be. Now, that's for E, which is on the left side. At the bottom left, you have S. Those people like me, for example, now, who would say, I'm tired of working for the companies that are established in the system. They don't pay me a lot, and I want to actually go and build my own business. That makes sense, but most of us don't realize this, especially those of us that had to really learn how to hustle for themselves. You might come from a secure home financially, but you only learn from maybe your parents own their own businesses, own their own jobs, basically. That's meaning they have to be there for the thing to function. If your dad fell sick or your mom fell sick, the business cannot function. That's S, that's self-employed. So some of the people in that part of the quadrant also came there because they were annoyed by the unstable nature that E is now becoming. But unknown to them, becoming an S doesn't exactly save you because you still just bought a job. The goal is to get yourself where you also have an S or an E, but you're rapidly training yourself to become somebody who knows how to run big businesses. Now, what are big businesses? Look at the app I'm posting this on: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Most of you don't know the name Larry Page, the founder of Google. Many of you know Mark Zuckerberg because he's very popular. He speaks a lot. Many of you don't know the owner of TikTok. Why? Because for you to use TikTok, him as the owner and the builder of TikTok does not need to be there physically with you. You don't even need to know him. There are systems set in place. There are management procedures set in place to make sure that those apps are working very well. That is the goal of this particular book, teaching you the mindsets needed to make yourself not only stand on one leg by being an employee or a job owner that's self-employed, but to improve yourself to understand the financial skills needed to be a big business owner. Many of our parents were small business owners. That's been in the S. When they died, many things couldn't continue. Some of us, if you're from the Igbo part of Nigeria, for example, you know that a lot of our parents, their business names were Choka and Sons, Ebenezer and Sons Limited. When they died, nothing continued. Now you might want to say, but isn't that the same as owning a business, a big business? No. A big business has structures. It takes trust to build the mindset that you need to allow 10 people manage something you think only you can do better. Now, a very good example of this are some Nigerian politicians and businessmen. And I'll use P2B as an example of a person in the B quadrant and the I quadrant. The I quadrant is investor, people who their money works for them. The big quadrants are big business owners, people who other people's time earns them money. So Peter Obi owns multiple businesses. He's the sole distributor of Heinz products in Nigeria, Ovaltine. He has major shares in Fidelity Bank, and so on. Now, the reason why Peter Obi and a couple of other politicians that are remarkable, like Ben Bruce of Silverbird TV, Tony Elumelu of UBA, is because they learned early on, when they were still S or E, how to build big businesses, but not only that, how to work with people, lead them, and show them what to do in a very organized structure. So you now, for example, as an S, like selling phones, you're importing phones from China on your own, you're doing the accounts on your own, marketing on your own. When you import those phones, you're the one who has to market them, sell them. But Peter Obi, if he wanted to do the same thing, he would just find 4 people who, one will be an accountant, for example, one will be the one who talks to the offices in China, one will be a marketer, one will be a technician, for example. Now you, that you're doing it yourself, you might earn $100 in profit per phone sold. He might earn only $30 or $3 even. But because he's building a system and the skills needed for that, he can be able as a B to sell 100 phones in a day and be able to scale it to 100,000 phones per day, while you may not be able to do that because you want to do everything yourself. Now, coming down to the I, people who are in the I, Peter Obi is also a very good example. A lot of our politicians are in the I didn't put them in the B because a lot of them may not have made their money in a way that is trackable. But look at the I, for example. Having your money work for you. Let's say you spend the earlier years of your life being an E, but later you start gaining the skills needed to be a B or an I. When you make, let's say you take 300 million naira and you put it in a stock, right? On the Nigerian Stock Exchange or maybe the American Stock Exchange, assuming you're outside the country. Within 10 years, that money can get you a lot of return. But that in itself is not even an I if you just put it in the stock market. Being a professional I is managing directly. You know, when you invest in stock market, you're giving another company money to invest for you. Being an I actually means, for example, you make down payments on like 10 houses, rent them out, and each of them is giving you like $2,000 monthly after tax and maintenance. That is actively managing your cash flow, using your money to earn you money instead of keeping your money in the bank. So the goal, according to Robert Kiyosaki, is to gradually train ourselves, if you want to, of course, it's not for everybody, to get to a point where you don't need to use this physical body to work to earn money. Now, in conclusion, why I think this is an important concept for every young man and woman to grab, especially if you're in Nigeria, is that our government is not doing anything to stabilize our country. If people in Canada and America can struggle to get pensions just because maybe if you are scammed, now they are doing a contribution based pension. So what you contribute in your working years is what they used to pay you in retirement. You understand? So if you're an employee and you're not learning how to run a business at all, no matter how small, the older you get, if you don't have children that can take care of you and they're financially okay, or you don't have big business working for you, or your money, a lot of money actually earning you something, you suffer and you become depressed and you be protesting. You saw police officers protesting the other day that they've retired and they're not being paid pension. So the conclusion here is make time every day, even if it's 10 minutes, 5 minutes, to learn the skills needed to build a big business. To learn what those skills are, you should definitely go and buy the Rich Dad series, particularly Rich Dad Poor Dad and Cash Flow Quadrant. Have a wonderful day and leave your comments below. If you like this topic, comment. Let me know what you'd like me to talk about. I love topics around business, self-improvement, and I think these are the things we need to talk about now, especially as young people trying to find their way. Have a wonderful day. Stay blessed.